So you're getting old and you want to retire through property. Just how much do you need? The average age for retirement for a female is currently 64 years old. For a guy, sorry, you got one extra year, you need to retire at 65, and that's today. I was just chatting to Alex earlier and we were saying about how when we're older, what will be the retirement age? Probably 70 to 75. Who really knows, right? The problem is we're getting too old. We are living for longer. I mean, good news, right? But not really for pensions. The entire point of pensions is that you work as long as possible and then you die as quick as possible. That is how they are created. They only ever benefit the economy if we die quicker than is predicted. Bit weird of a concept that, isn't it? But that's why we have this massive pension crisis, and the government is trying to do all these crazy things to get people to put more money in, and sorry if you're doing this, but making this idea of invest 5%, put more in your pension, and really it's to carry on paying the people that are currently taking it. Kind of a gigantic Ponzi scheme, but that's a conversation for another time. So the whole concept is that the problem is that they're investing in things and continuously drawing from the capital pot. Now, if you've been watching any of my videos, you know that I don't like living from earned income if I can help it. And this can go, by the way, if you're a multi-millionaire or you're earning 20 grand a year, you can start implementing these concepts of investing a small portion of what you make and actually siphoning it off into investments and living off the passive income. If you're 19 and watching this, all you need is £50 a week. By the time you retire at 65, you'll have £2.2 million to your name. Not bad, right? The first thing you need to be thinking about is what lifestyle would you like? And you need to be realistic with this. So they've measured for the average couple, husband and wife, husband and husband, or whatever else, £29,100 is what the average retired couple needs to live a decent life. And £47,500 is a good life. Now, for me, that seems pretty low, to be honest. I'm guessing what that means is everything else is paid off, so you don't have a mortgage and stuff like that. Because if you think logically, that's not each, by the way, that's for both people. And you think, surely you're spending more money when you're retired because you're not at work for 40, 50 hours a week, driving back and forth. So what are you doing with that time if you're not going to spend it doing something? But conversation for another time. So personally, what I would advise, my opinion, is 50% more than your salary. So if you are earning £30,000, my target would be to get £45,000 as a passive income for me. And this for a couple of reasons, but number one, I want to live my current lifestyle. And if I live my current lifestyle and I'm working right now, then I want to factor in my lifestyle with 40 to 50 hours more of spare time on a weekly basis. The second reason is I like being independent. Now, my hope is I retire with the love of my life and we grow old together and so on and so forth. But if for whatever reason that doesn't happen from a practical sense, then I want to know that I'm financially secure in the first place. And the way that I've measured that is 50% on top of your salary as a fairly comfortable starting space. You also need to think of, what does retirement mean? And I know there's it's defined as this. I think there's a lot of things that have been defined 50, 60, 100 years ago that I think the whole idea of how we live has completely changed. Even jobs, it's like there's so much more flexibility in jobs. One of our employees, for example, full-time, she lives up in Scotland right now. We've got 2 full-time members of staff that live in the Philippines. And no doubt as we grow as a business, we'll have more remote working opportunities. So this whole concept of digital nomad, where as long as you've got the laptop, a phone and internet access, you could kind of work from anywhere in the world within reason. Now, outside of that, what does retirement mean? Can that be set in stone? I think the definition's changing. Some people, their idea of retirement is, do you know what, once I hit a certain age, no more work. I'm just going to read the newspaper, I'm going to wake up when I want, do what I want during the day, go to sleep, whatever. For me, I couldn't think of anything worse. Honestly, my exit for every job is death. Like, my retirement is dying, and I'll probably work another few years after that, all right? So for me, genuinely, I think of this concept of semi-retirement, or what I call the blended life. So that's what I'm aiming to achieve. We'll see if I ever get there, right? So the blended life for me is being able to work if I want to and being able to take time off. Now, it's hard getting to that point. It really is, because you have to find that balance of the right amount of money and you're enjoying what you're doing and trying to find the balance of what you want to achieve. But if you truly enjoy what you're doing, why would you ever want to stop it, right? And this idea of, if you hate your job, and people do, people genuinely hate their job, but it's like, pays my way, pays the bills. It's like, you need to think it's taken an overwhelming part of your life. 5 out of 7 days. If you hate your job and you hate the people that you work with, and even if you work for me and you're watching this, find another job. There will be something out there for you that's right. And that's not really to do with retirement, but find something where you're not looking forward to retirement. Because I'm definitely not. I am not looking forward to getting to the point where I cannot do this anymore. Honestly, if I need to sit down in my Zimmer frame for these videos, I'll be filming. Don't you worry. The next thing I like to look at is life events. If you think about your typical life events, then you can prepare for them financially. So a lot of people do this, whereas here's where I'm at, here's where I want to get to at the end, forget everything in the middle. And it's like, well, actually, what kind of happens between now and retirement? Well, if you don't have kids, maybe you're going to have kids. What about the wedding? What about your first divorce? What about your second wedding? What about your other group of kids? What about them going to university? What about your house? What about your kids' house? Whatever it is, you want to factor it in as you're going along and timelining it. What's the final house look like? If you're Alex, you won't be able to see it from the gate. He's obsessed with long drives, by the way. So anything like that, you want to think about the timelines of how you're going to get there and the money that's there. And you want to add all of that up and have your net figure. Remember, the property isn't the net value of it. So £1 million house is more like 200,000 of investment, because the rest will be debt, for example. Take advantage of it. So outside of that, when you've then added that up, you want to think about your retirement. On average, you want in capital around 20 times that amount. Now, I know you might listen to that and go, that is a staggering amount of money. So in order to make that amount of money, 50 grand a year, I'm going to need £1 million. Yes. Okay, I know it's a lot of money, but in general, if you can get £1 million invested by the time you retire, not only will you make £50,000 a year, you'll then be able to give that to your kids that will help them make £50,000 a year, and they can add to the pot and create that legacy moving forward. I know that's a very simplistic way of looking at it, but 20 times what you want as your income is what you need to invest. There is an option number 2, and that is getting loans from other people, also known as OPM, other people's money, to invest. Now, in general, what I typically do is double the amount. So if I want to make £50,000 a year and I need £1 million invested, if it's not going to be my money, then what I'll do is I'll raise that from elsewhere, £2 million. Now, you might think that's quite a lot of money, but you can raise £2 million at around 5% interest, which is going to cost you around £100,000 a year. And here's where your business mind comes in. So a lot of people talk about fast money and slow money. Fast money is a business. For example, I've got Aspire Property Group, and it's my property company. I've got an education company, and all of that is fast money, i.e. I exchange time for money and you make it quickly. What I then do is I invest that money into the slow money, which is the passive income money. So that's what's going to pay me over the long term. So I make the money here, I put it here, and it pays me. And any excess right now, I put back in the pot, keep on putting it in, keep back putting it in, until eventually, if I wanted to sell these companies or get rid of them or hold them, whatever it is, but I don't want to work in them anymore, I can live off the passive income. Now, here's the cool thing, right? If you think about loaning £2 million from somebody, that's going to cost you $100,000 a year. Now, you kind of think, well, if I put that into property, I'll make the passive income, which you will. You'll be able to pay that back quite easily if you've got a decent investment. But this is where the business comes in. If you can get a business where you are earning £10,000 a month, which depends on where you are. You might listen to this and go, I'm doing that already. Or you're like, that's a crazy number. But if you can get a business that makes you £10,000 a month, that will get you access to £2 million that you can start your investment journey with. Just to make sure we're clear, you loan $2 million at 5%, which is $100,000 a year. £10,000 a month is $120,000 a year, more than enough with a buffer to pay the interest. You then leverage that and, for example, put that into property, which will allow you to buy around £7 million worth of property. And if you can get a 5 or 6% yield on that property, it's going to pay you massive dividends back. And with the capital growth, a nice financial freedom pot down the line. So really understanding this financial freedom figure is completely down to you. You need to understand what your end goal is, and you're not going to like my last tip, tax. Tax needs to be taken account of, and trust me, I hate tax even more than you, I can promise you. But it is something we need to factor in. Tax, you know what? See it as your contribution back to society for allowing you the opportunity to work your ass off and make some money. All right, I'm being a little bit sarcastic, but genuinely, it is an opportunity to contribute back, and you need to factor it in. I'm not going to go through tax because it's so reliant on your personal situation. Now, your job then, when you understand this financial freedom figure, whether it's £5,000 a month, £10,000 a month, £20,000 a year, £50,000 a year, is how can I expedite that? And that's what I often do. And Elon Musk advises this. He says, if you looked at what you wanted to achieve in 20 years and you said, how can I achieve that in a month? Suddenly your brain shifts. It starts acting differently. You start taking completely different actions, and you work on a new strategy to make your 20-year goal in 1 month. Now, will you succeed? Almost definitely not. But I can near guarantee you're going to do it in a year or two, not 20 years. Now, why should you rush that financial freedom figure? Well, I don't mean rush it as in the next year or two. I'm saying, but if you focus on finding your retirement figure and you made a 10-year plan in order to achieve that financial freedom figure, then you're going to enjoy your life a lot more in your later years because you're not worried about money. Now, does money solve all of the world's problems? No. People say money can't make you happy. I would disagree. I think people that think money can't make you happy haven't given enough of it away. Sure, money doesn't make you happy in isolation, but once you exchange something, maybe when you buy a gift, maybe when you donate to charity, maybe when you purchase something, so there's an exchange of value, that brings me happiness personally. And that's why I love money, with the element of happiness that it can give you in your life. So understand your figures, expedite the process, and don't be afraid of other people's money speeding up your journey. It's better to have a smaller piece of a much bigger pie that can compound as you're going through time. Hey, this is a slightly unique video. If you want more like this, leave a comment below. Let me know what type of video you want and I'll get that done. If you're new to the channel and you want to find out more about property, investing, personal growth and anything else, make sure to hit the subscribe and the notification bell, hit the like, and I'll see you in the next video.